Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tori and I'm your Arizona wedding and family photographer. For today's video, it's a very simple edit. This is about bridal detail shots. In this case, we're going to look at how I edit bridal jewelry as the bride is putting it on. Now, of course, this is a very simple concept. There's not much skill really required to edit these kind of images, but lately I've been posting ones that are a little, I'd say, more advanced. So I wanted to keep this video very simple and just show you how I do this in case you have any interest in it. So this is the image on the screen that we're going to be working with. As you can see, the bride is putting on her bracelet. Very beautiful. Let's look at the details of this if we look at the histogram over here. So this image was actually shot right in front of a window. So I shot this at ISO 800 with my 85mm prime lens on my Nikon D750. I shot this at a 1.4 aperture because I really just wanted the bracelet to be more in focus and kind of blur everything out. And a 1.4 aperture is absolutely amazing for that. So I often will use this lens for the 1.4 aperture lenses for the details, very fine details, and then some bridal portraits as well. So, and then I shot this at 1/250th of a second. So, okay, first step, we don't need her elbow in this picture. So I'm going to crop first of all, so I know exactly what kind of positioning I want this image to be. And I think about right there, so that way we still have some detail of her arm so we can tell for sure that it's her arm in addition to it being attached to her hand, obviously. But let's try that. I might even move it over. Let's try a little bit wider. There we go. All right. I'm gonna start with just bringing down the highlights a little bit. We don't want to go too far down because then we can start seeing the curtain right there. So maybe just up a little bit. I don't think we really need to play with the temperature too much. Maybe just add a little bit of warmth in there. The bride was very fair skinned, so I don't want to make her orange. And then what I want to do is add a little bit of clarity to the image. And you see these blues right here behind her? That's very common in white materials, which behind her hand is a white, drawing a blank on what they're called, the window. So let's go ahead and look at our saturation. Let's bring the blue all the way down, get rid of that blue entirely. That looks so much better. What does it look like if we brighten the blues? See how we brighten those blues and it makes it even brighter right there? So that's very nice. I like that a lot. Okay, let's take the brush tool and I'm gonna just paint over this bracelet because I really want this to be super crispy. So let's bring up our clarity on that quite a bit. That just really adds a bunch of crispiness to that part of the image. Let's see what it looks like if we add a little bit of contrast. And let's bring up the texture a little bit. There we go. Now you can see there's like right here on her skin, there's like a light spot maybe from where she wore a watch. Let's just see if we can correct it just a little bit. We don't have to do anything drastic. So let's just paint on the spot. And what if we were to just bring the texture down, bring the clarity down, and then maybe bring the shadows up. It kind of blends it a little bit more. And then we'll do another brush and we'll just kind of work with the skin right next to it and on the side of her arm. See if there's any way just to kind of even it out a little bit. Bring the contrast down, shadows up. That looks a little bit better. Let's look at our before and our after. So very subtle changes, but this is a lot more in focus, which is the whole point. It's a detailed shot where you aim your focus on one particular thing. All right, let's go to the next image here. This one. As we can see, it's another detailed shot where we have her bracelet, her wedding ring, her hands are gently folded over, and she's sitting in this position. So this one I also shot with a 1.4. I shot with the same lens for both of these images. I just had her sit down for the next picture. So it looks like we have most of her wedding ring in focus, the bracelet not so much, and not so much that. So her hand is going to be more so in focus for this image. So let's go ahead and immediately bring our clarity up. I want to get rid of the blues in here. I really am not a fan of blues on whites. So I'm going to bring blue all the way down. And then like we did in the last image, the luminance for the blue, we're going to bring that up. And that really makes everything pop more in the white tones. And then our whites up here, we'll go ahead and bring this up too. Already looking a lot better. See? Definitely more bridal and brighter here. All right. Next, I'm going to go ahead and bring the radial gradient. We're going to put that over her hands. And we're going to bring up that clarity. And do it a bit smaller. I kind of just want it more focused on the ring. Bring our texture up. All right. I'm going to crop this in a little bit too. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to kind of soften parts of the this particular image, where we already have a lot of softness, because doing softer areas around the item in focus helps bring more attention to the item in focus, in this case, her ring. Okay. I'm going to do another brush tool, and I am going to go down to the skin softener. And as I mentioned in another video, these brushes you can purchase through, I think it's Lux Lens is the name of that photography brand where they sell the brushes in different presets. Go check them out. I'm sure you can just Google them. And let's go ahead and paint on. See, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Let's erase that. I didn't mean to do that on the necklace or the bracelet. Delete it. Let's try that again. I wanted to kind of soften areas of her hands. There we go. And again, my cat is next to me in the background meowing for you guys because she thinks that this is her show. All right, I'm just kind of softening her fingers in certain areas, maybe on the knuckles. The bride has some fighting knuckles. Maybe she went boxing or something. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in here. That looks better. I'm not happy with that little spot on her. Let's see if we can clone it out in here. It might have to take it into Photoshop for that, but better. All right, good job, Lightroom. Lastly, let's go ahead and see if we can kind of define this part of her belt. Let's bring up our clarity on that. Yeah, and maybe this part of her material, since this is in focus, very nicely. All right, and then how about down here? Little element of her dress, the ripples right there, that's very nice. Okay, now what happens if we add a little bit of warmth into this? Oh, look at the big difference that warmth made. I want to bring up the shadows, bring up the highlights. Now, another feature that you could do on an image like this, I don't know if it's going to work because I haven't tried it, but it's something to always try and play around with when you have a lot of white in an image, is to do the opposite vignette. So you can give it a little bit of white. That actually looks really nice. So instead of doing a dark vignette like you're used to, just go on the opposite side where it's white. Just kind of brings up the whites even more, and it gives it that real nice bridal look. That feature usually doesn't work on a lot of images too well, but this particular image, it actually looks really good. So that's it. That is the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please comment below. Let me know what you thought. I would love to see some of your detail shots. So if you want to leave any links down below for me to check out your work, I would love to do that. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next time.